this time of the year, you're going to find, with the competition the way it is, it's going to have an enormous amount of players that have played. We only had the chance to play 3 games, and he's played 1 of 3. A lot of our players have played 2 out of 3. Very rarely have any of our players played the 3 games. So this is just a continuance of the Players Association rules to have, or the AFL to have an extended break, which meant that the time when they come back before the first game is limited. You look at the boys last night. The last quarter, both sides very, very fit, really couldn't get out of their own way. And that's just the way it is, round 1. So sometimes it's better not to have too many games under your belt. I think that one of the things about round 1 is it just throws up the unexpecteds. You know, we are so. I don't think anyone's going to pick. Well, if they pick 8, good luck to them. But it just seems to be, regardless of whether it be a win or loss, there's always going to be the unexpected. You just don't know. And I suppose that's the built-in thing about having a limited NAB Cup Challenge Series, is that it throws all these little variables up. How are we ready? We're as ready as we can be. If you said a week later, well, there might be a couple of players that get injured, and then you need another couple of weeks. So the best idea is ignore who's out of your side. Let the medical staff look after them. Look at the players you've got in your side, and have the confidence in them. And we've got great confidence in our team. So we are ready. We're looking forward to it. Albeit the Sunday night game, one of, it's an extended period for the first round. We just want to get out there and play footy. Well, most of those players have come through very well. The ones that had the surgery after that, in Chris Judd and Andrew Carazzo, they're not available this week. The other player was Henderson. But he's right. Yep. Well, I don't think it's about claiming, because we don't look at it that they're taking their spot. They're not taking their spot. This is round 1. They are earning their position. So they're not taking anyone's spot. I don't get caught up in who is not available. That is just the facts of the game. It's a physical game. It's a brutal game. There's going to be casualties. So whoever plays in our side has the right of way. And that's the way we're looking at it, and that's the way we approach it, that all our players are there to play 22 weeks if they can. And if they play well enough, they play the 22 weeks. It's not a matter of are they replacing someone. It's a question that sometimes can be answered. You clearly look at Hawthorn and probably the top 4 sides. Then you look at 5th down to perhaps, and I'm loath to say 10th or 11th or 12th, because the rapid improvement of the sides that have been introduced to the competition, their progress is going to be so rapid. So who's to say that they can't also feature? So it's a bit of a distorted clock, the way I see it. I think the top 4 have got every right to think it's between 11 and 1, and the rest of us, and we're one of those rest of us, we're caught in that bracket. That are we approaching? We're certainly not past 1 o'clock. Are we approaching 11 o'clock? I would say that we're approaching 11 o'clock. Well, but I think there's a lot of sides approaching 11 o'clock, and we're going to differentiate that by partway through the season. And so, okay, some sides aren't near that side, and we want to be progressing through 11 o'clock into it. And I don't see any reason why that can't be the case. I haven't got a crystal ball, but we've got a very good blend of senior players, and we've got a good blend in the middle. When you introduce to the football club Thomas, a relatively young man, and Everett and Doherty, all young from other clubs, and our 3 kids that we drafted, and 2 of them are emergencies this week. It gives you a bit of an illustration that our blend of players is quite good.
If there are so many teams at 11 o'clock, obviously you all can't get to midnight or win a premiership at the same time. So how will you guys get there before?
Oh, well, that's going to be in the results. As I say, I haven't got a crystal ball. I'm not a soothsayer. We've got to prove ourselves. Oh, no doubt. Mark Murphy not only had the going into a pre-season with a knee complaint and then broke his cheekbone, and also had the burden of being a first-year captain. He's going to be far better prepared, and he is far better prepared. And Thomas is clearly ahead of what he was last year because of his foot problem. So we see 2 players that can have a real impact in the middle. No, that's just everyone. It's their day. I've never been different on the last training day before a game, and you'll hear me say this for as long as I coach. The day before a game is their day. I know I'm plucking this bloke out, but a bloke like Ben Johnson had to be flat out. Because that's the way he felt good about himself, to go into a match. Others, you don't even know they're out there. And in Murph's case, we've got a program that he believes is right for him to go into a match, and that's fantastic. It's their day. What they do, so as long as they don't wreck someone else's training, in other words, they can't be sloppy with their work, so long as they're professional in their attitude, but they can bring the pace down to 20%, 30%, or they can go, as I say, like blokes like previous players I've had that worked at between 80 and 90%. Well, I think it's that's not going to cost too many. That's going to cost the American economy a little bit, but I fear more for the fact that if it's cut deeply, that people will lose their jobs. Because you can't mysteriously just lose $1 million and expect that. We don't spend anywhere near $1 million on our travelling requirements. I can categorically tell you that, and more than half it's paid by executives that go across with us, and the other part's paid by the players. But that's factored in as a cost. So therefore, that's still part of, even though you mightn't spend it, that's still part of that cost. My thing would be more about that we've built an industry, and we pride ourselves on the number of people we employ in this industry that have left the game and come into the game, or have been outside coming to the game. We've got physios, doctors and psychologists and operations managers, match day people. Where do you cut your fat from? Do we get leaner in there, and therefore we're depriving people of actually of their job? That doesn't sit too well with me. Because these people are the same as anyone else in the community. You lose a job, and they're not always easy to make up. You know, because we've got a massive industry. The AFL in Australia wide, you can imagine the dollars that's generated. So they're the things. I'm all for equalisation, make no mistake about it. But I really do feel that there's going to be a side show to it, which was going to cost people jobs. Oh, you could ask Port. How do you know? I mean, that's not, with all due respects, that question cannot be answered by me for a start off. It can be answered by them over a long period of time. One game does not make a season, but we want to win this game of football no differently than they do. Both finished off with a 1-1 result in finals last year, so clearly we've earned the right to be considered a good football side, as have they. I can't answer for them. All I can say about us is that we're hungry for us to get out there and play our best footy.